other podcast laughs at death more than us?
It's not a great trait. It's not one of our best qualities. It's a real Mount Eldfell from Iceland.
Mount Eldfell.
Mount Eldfell. One person died. I'm okay with that.
Well, then, no, that violates the terms.
I mean, collateral damage.
Collateral damage?
What if the person died of like a heart attack because they were so shocked?
Well, I still think that counts. We don't even have a kitchen at our house. We just go to
the steakhouse.
Felipe's Steakhouse every night.
So, Felipe, presumably the Hispanic man, is known for his steaks.
Yeah.
A local idiot spreads virus after visiting stupid podcast in a barn. And then I wonder, I don't know why the news is so mean to us. It feels extra rude.
Yeah, at least use our logo and our name.
Oh, God, don't use that logo.
Reunited. Back in the same room. Socially distanced from each other, of course.
Properly spaced.
We have wiped down, before you got here, I wiped down everything in this vicinity with Clorox wipes. We have hand sanitizer on the table that we both took a quick pump of right before the intro started.
It smells of bleach down here.
It does.
It smells like you decided to cover up a murder.
It smells very strong.
Under the guise of the spread of this virus.
Which we are going to try not to focus on really at all in this episode because try to let people forget about it for at least an hour or so.
Yeah. Is right now the best time to cover up a murder?
Probably. I mean,
you're
feel
not
like
going to get weird looks if you're going to buy excessive cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
And carrying heavy bags with blood draining out the back. Nobody will notice.
I don't know about that, but maybe do the shopping before the crime takes place.
You think pre-planned?
Yeah,
pre-planned on your. Okay,
might be a good idea.
I did see that there. This is a big concern for crime now, so I'm glad I was just able to give a new suggestion. Really spread that out into the ether.
So to all you potential criminals out there, you can thank Kyle for the for his expert planning.
I can't wait for in like 2 years when we're playing back a hilarious bit of when I was in court trying to explain away my words on this podcast as a motivation for somebody else to commit a terrible, heinous crime.
Now we have some I don't know if I want to call it breaking news. Do we want to call it breaking news? Because I know
it won't be breaking by the time this comes out. So,
but
it's weird calling it breaking news.
But I know how much you love breaking news.
Okay, you know what?
Especially delivering it on this podcast.
I've already got the script. Live from the Steve and Kyle podcast news desk, Kenny Rogers died. DOA. Oh!
I mean...
a little copyright infringement?
No. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns staring out the window at the darkness, till the boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. Boy, I just realized I don't know any of the words to this.
Out of reading people's faces
and knowing what their cards were by the way they held their eyes.
So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces.
Well, taste of whiskey and I'll give you some advice.
So I handed him my bottle and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light.
Boy, that's real rude.
And then like deathly quiet.
And his face lost all expression.
But if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
You gotta know when to hold 'em. Oh, everybody! Know when to fold 'em. Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
Oh.
Solo. Every gambler knows
the secret to surviving.
Well, maybe not.
Knowing what keep.
Every hand's a winner, and every hand's a loser. Best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. Huh.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, well, just got awkward there. I mean, we love a good karaoke here on this podcast.
That's
but it got like oddly prophetic there at the end.
There were a couple there. One that I preferred not to notice.
Which one was that?
What was the exact line that you had to point out and ruin the joy?
I don't know. Not really sure what you're talking about. Best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep.
No, I mean that one hit you like a hammer. Oh yeah, every gambler knows, Steve, that the secret to surviving.
Well, apparently, he knew the secret to surviving 81 years. 81 years on this earth. That's double my age. If I could live to 81, I think I'd be content. What about you?
Ugh, anything after 50.
Really? So you
just kick the bucket.
So you're on the downslide already.
Oh yeah, I think in my 20s was the real downturn. Now this is, like you mentioned, Steve, this is breaking news. I mean, within the last hour here. What I have no idea in the details here. Just saw that he passed away. What did Kenny Rogers pass away from?
I
81?
believe he died in hospice care at his house.
So some maybe some lingering issues there.
Died doing what he loved.
You mean being in hospice?
Yeah. I mean, everyone does stuff for you. You don't have to like make your own grilled cheese.
So we're now going with the idea that Kenny Rogers periodically throughout his younger years, through the years, if you will.
Look, I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm not putting experiences in his life. I don't know.
But your idea would be that some at points throughout his life, because he enjoyed it so much, and it's what he loved, he would simply go visit hospice care, or have hospice care come to them.
Hospice comes to you.
Well, yeah, if you're doing what you love, you don't want to go to do it. Have someone come to you to do it.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Kenny Rogers' few loves. Hospice care and singing.
And chicken, of course.
Do you have chicken? Is he a chicken guy?
Kenny Rogers, isn't that a famous chicken place, too?
Are you thinking of KFC?
No. Kenny Rogers, the roaster.
You thinking of The Gambler? Were you just saying it?
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers chicken. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Yeah, it was a classic Seinfeld episode. Kenny Rogers Roasters.
Wow, still kicking?
Chain of chicken-based restaurants founded in 1991 by country musician Kenny Rogers.
156.
He's doing all right. Well,
geez.
I mean, the restaurant's doing all right. Jesus.
Because to put the last hammer on the top of the nail head, he's dead. Right?
Is this the most insensitive Kenny Rogers tribute there's been?
I'd be hard pressed to find one worse. I mean, we started off with, and again, totally unintentional on the introduction there, whereas we not joked about, but we were talking about Mount Eldfeld's explosion or volcanic eruption last week and how it killed one person. We talked about how we treat death probably a little too flippantly.
A little bit. So
that gets thrown in the intro, and then
in these trying times, I feel like I need a palate cleanser. So, what you been up to?
Boy, our transitions are as smooth as the buttermilk biscuits at Kenny Rogers Roasters, 156 locations.
That's right.
Nationwide. Now
they are doing just fine.
They got to, I mean, it's insensitive, but this always happens when a celebrity passes away. So, today and probably for the next week on all the streaming services and all of the music purchasing sites, Kenny Rogers will be the number one purchased artist. Mm-hmm. All of his songs, Coward of the County, The Gambler, Through the Years, all of his big ones.
Mm-hmm.
You think the Roasters are kicking themselves because they can't be open right now?
Probably, yeah. They can't do a tribute to their grand leader.
I don't know if he'd like that term. It has a real white supremacist feel to it.
Look, I don't know Kenny Rogers.
Oh! Where was this based out of?
Atlanta,
Georgia. Yeah, I could see it. That's right, folks. The proper eulogy this morning.
Oh, look at that. He got former KFC CEO John Y. Brown Jr. on board.
Whoa.
Look at that. He stole from the competition.
Former governor of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in Kentucky Fried Chicken. Look at that.
Yep. 64-71. He was the CEO of KFC.
Wow.
Not Kenny Rogers, the other guy. John Y. Brown Jr.
Kenny Rogers not a CEO of anything anymore. Livelihood. Life. Guess he's just like John Y. Brown. He's now the former CEO of Being Alive. Mm-hmm. Should we edit that one out?
No.
Well, anyway, our condolences to the family and fans and
little levity here. Levity, folks. That's what we're offering you in this time of great depression.
You think Kenny...
I don't know.
You think he was jealous because Kenny's not like a common name, right? Especially for, a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting big, right? In the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And then
by the way, when he already looked like he was 65.
Absurd.
And you pulled up that picture, I think, of 1980.
1979 album cover.
Where he would have been like 40. And he already looked
60.
60.
Unbelievable.
That like feathered mullet, which I would just refer to as Kenny Rogers hair because you say that and everybody knows what it looks like.
Yep.
Where it's kind of gray on the pretty much where I'm headed. If I let my hair grow into like a mullet, I'll have a Kenny Rogers cut because mine's already gray on the sides. Do you think it?
I think there's only one way to make up for what we've done here in the first 9 minutes.
It's to grow a roaster mullet.
And that's for one of us. I mean, we could flip a coin. To grow our hair out.
Uh-huh.
In the roaster mullet.
Well, look, the good news is...
Philip, if you're free, I'm going to need a chicken with a Kenny Rogers mullet. Feathered hair.
But the chicken has to look like me.
Okay, so a chicken with Steve's face, Kenny Rogers 1979 hair.
Mm-hmm. Maybe playing the piano?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Was Kenny Rogers a good pianist? Was he known for
I don't know, but I think the piano is
maybe prominent. A guitar slung over your...
Oh, yeah. Like
not your beak, but your long neck.
As I'm walking off into the sunset to show that death has happened.
Oh, boy. It's going to be like one of those obnoxious shirts you see random people, and you don't know why they still wear them, but it's just like they clearly went to a screen printer with like a Polaroid of their friend who died tragically, and then they just paint massive words.
Yeah.
Like 1979 to 2010, and people are still wearing it. But yeah, we want that on a shirt.
Yeah.
With a chicken of Steve's face with roaster mullet hair.
Yeah, so maybe the chicken is walking off into the sunset. He's got the guitar slung over his neck with the guitar in the back, obviously. And the chicken is looking back over his shoulder, and that's where you can see that it's me.
My goodness, if you Google Kenny Rogers 1979 and look at that hair. Holy cow, is that to behold.
Kenny Rogers 1979.
I'm looking at the first picture you're going to get.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, and the fourth picture.
Look at that.
The silver streaks, you got a little bit. He was Paulie Walnuts before Paulie Walnuts.
Look at the one below it. Look at this one.
Oh, look at
It's
that.
like his hair just decided, like the sides of his hair and his beard said, hey, we're going gray. And the top said, see you later.
On your own, sucker.
Look at this one down here. It looks like the cover of an album.
Yeah, that's the one we were looking at. I think that's the one that popped up. Yeah, 1979.
That is the epitome of feathered hair, too.
Look at it.
All right. Last year, it was
handsome Bradley Cooper.
My love for Bradley Cooper's hair.
Oh boy, don't want to keep scrolling. You'll see the one from more recent times and Kenny Rogers.
Let's see. Where's he at?
Yeah, let's just say late 70s hair didn't quite hold the same ambiances. You're going to be up a little bit, up in the middle. You'll see it because it looks like.
It looks all right.
Looks like the way his hair is now, probably.
In a coffin. So last year it was my love for Bradley Cooper's hair. This year it's my love for Kenny Rogers' 1979 hair. And the good news is everything is closed. The place I got my hair cut, closed indefinitely at this point.
Right.
They're planning on reopening, but who knows when.
Need me to get some clippers up there?
No. The exact opposite. I need to let it go.
Right.
Maybe I can trim up the front and the top a little bit, but the back and the sides, I gotta let him go.
What do you do to get like the poof that he gets? Like not poof, but it
so it
looks like
volume.
if he walked out into the wind, it wouldn't look like flaps in the wind. It would look like it would like be a wave in the wind, Steve.
Well, I'm lucky in that my hair is kind of puffy. Just
that's a good point. You got a little air to it, a little elevation,
a little
to
volume.
Your hair.
Mm-hmm. So, I think I'm well on my way to Kenny Rogers roaster hair.
Mullet.
I want the roaster mullet.
That's a good term.
It's a great term.
That's a great term for Kenny Rogers' 1979 hair. There are a few things I wanted to get to before we get too deep.
It is Saturday, March 21st, 2020, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, but we digress.
Well, it's smart to wait on that there, though, because, Steve, I think when we throw in some tags and we drop this on social media and all the Kenny Rogers super fans come listening for the eulogy.
Yes.
They don't want to get distracted by your date and time reading. Yeah. They just want to get right into the eulogization. Mm-hmm. But that's what I was getting at. Do you think Kenny Rogers, at his height, a little angry at Kenny Loggins? Think they had a rivalry
just because of the name?
Yeah. And then Kenny Loggins.
Which was the bigger of the Kennys?
Boy, oh boy! You know what we do when people die. The only thing we look at
is what their name
net
was.
worth.
Oh, it's gotta be Kenny Rogers.
I'm thinking it's Rogers just based on how many songs
he
had.
You're doing celebrity net worth?
Yeah, I'll do Loggins.
Nice. I got the roaster. Kenny Rogers.
Let's see if I'm going to be surprised. Whoa, I am. By a couple of things. One, I have never seen Kenny Loggins. And he kind of looks like he's a kind of a preacher who's reformed from a drug abusive past.
Okay.
And he's trying to tell all the kids how cool he is.
Oh, yeah, he does look like cool 90s guy.
But I think that's now. He just never upgraded. I would have never guessed that's what but Kenny Loggins earlier in the older days. Handsome guy.
Okay, so give me...
Do you have any guesses? Now, Kenny Loggins, obviously, I would argue his biggest hit is Danger Zone.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't even think this... Now that I think about it, if Kenny Rogers owns 150 chicken restaurants...
Oh, this might not even be close.
No, I don't think it's going to be close.
Unless it's all franchise stuff.
I would say... But still, they make... I mean, McDonald's are franchised. They have a couple bucks.
They're doing okay. You're absolutely right.
I would say Kenny Loggins, I'm going to say $25 million.
Kenny Loggins' net worth, 2020. $25 million on the nose.
Well, I'm actually surprised then at this because Kenny Rogers is only worth...
Should be a runaway.
10 times as much as Kenny Loggins. $250 million.
$250 million.
$250 million.
For 156 roaster chicken restaurants.
Yeah.
A ton of hits.
Yeah.
25.
That's going to give him some major street cred in heaven.
Having more money on Earth?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You think there's a caste system in heaven?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It is a little bit surprising, and I don't know why I know I thought of this name because his name was trending on social media this recently. But Kenny Loggins, I apologize, and Richard Marx are in a race to be worth more.
Really?
25.
What's Mark? Wait a minute. What was Richard Marx's big? What was his big
Right
hit?
There Waiting for You. Nope, that was not it. What was?
Yeah, that's it.
Was
wherever you go, whatever you do,
yep, that's it. Yep.
I will be right here waiting for you.
Yep, right here waiting.
Whatever it takes, or how my heart breaks, I will be right here waiting for you. Boy, he needs to die because we're good at that song. How old is he? Is he in his 80s yet? Does he like hospice or chicken?
No, and he still looks effing fantastic.
Isn't Pardo a big fan of Richard Marx?
He was just on Pardo's podcast this winter. Oh, for God's sake. Of course, Richard Marx in his 60s. And yeah, Richard Marx really having a rough go at things.
Oh, yeah. Boy, he looks terrible.
Beautiful hair.
Uh-huh.
But as Steve said, we really need him to die. We can play that song. But no, that is a weird trajectory. Maybe Richard Marx and Kenny Loggins now have the rivalry. Maybe now that Kenny Rogers found the bucket and booted it, Richard Marx picks up that mantle of having one uber hit and then a bunch of smaller hits from that era, and now carries that on. Richard Marx v. Kenny Loggins into the 2020s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I honestly...
Wait, this is a very Kenny Rogers, Richard Marx heavy episode.
Oh, it's a dead person rivalry episode.
Richard Marx is like, I'm still alive.
As is Kenny Loggins.
Still 100% living.
I'm hell-bent on making a rivalry for a now-deceased person.
Okay. All right. So, here we are in APS 3.0. We are, again, socially distanced. There is plenty of space between us. We are taking all the necessary precautions to make sure that we are safe.
This isn't an indictment, and thank you to everybody for listening and watching the CoronaCast.
Yes.
That we surprise released on Thursday night / Friday last week. But, I mean, obviously with everything, it's easier to do it the way you know doing it.
Sure.
We're both comfortable the way we are right now doing it, and we're keeping apart. So no worries. It may switch to that format if circumstances continue to change, which they are by the day.
And obviously,
stay tuned for that.
If one of us or one of our family members were to get sick, that obviously changes everything.
Sure.
But it's a weird, definitely a weird spot to be in, because this is something that we do every week, and normally you wouldn't have to send me a text the night before saying, so what do you think we should do? Because the options are record as usual, record over Skype or whatever, or not record. So those were the three options presented last night.
Right.
I was like, well, I'm not going to not do this.
Bummed.
We've made it nearly 200 weeks.
That was my vote.
It was kind of mine too, but I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Skip the next 200.
So we'll gather back here in 2025-ish.
Yeah, late 2024. We'll start gathering the horses to put this thing together.
Dust off the equipment here.
Try to put back the mixer together after I'd taken half of it.
Here's the spot that I'm in, though, because I think at this point we're pretty sure that the way things are right now, it's probably going to get worse.
Sure.
Whereas although our governor did say yesterday, we're not shutting down the state, which seems, I don't know, maybe not like a great idea, but not my not my place to stay, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I really want to, since obviously we're not going to be going anywhere, we're not doing anything, we're not going out to dinner or going on vacation or anything. So I think that I'm in the same spot. Like, everybody's in the same spot where you're like, all right, well, I got to be at home for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. What can I do to make that time worth it?
Sure.
How can I take advantage of all that time at home? So I thought maybe I'll just go out and pick up a bunch of wood, pick up a bunch of supplies, start working on APS 4.0.
Now, you guys, to quickly interject, you guys are on the monkey feces throwing program. You guys are still going at it?
We are.
We are still live in studio every day.
Until we are told that we can't do it,
all right.
We're going to keep doing it. Because our way of looking at it is, if one of the 5 of us has it, we've already all been exposed to it.
Right.
So,
right.
And there's really, that building's a ghost town at this point anyway.
Sure.
So
tune in for a few minutes this week.
Don't care.
Not for me.
No. Okay. What would you like more?
Well, the production was lackluster, but
so I thought maybe I'll go out, pick up a bunch of wood, a bunch of outlets and supplies, and at least start doing the basics in there. Not that I'm I don't have a deadline, I want to get it done in the next month or whatever. But I think it would be a good use of my time.
Right. But
am I a jerk, though, if I'm at Home Depot buying 2x4s?
I don't... It's a tough spot.
Because I'm the first one to tell, to say, hey, stay home. You don't have to go out.
As you're going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's a tough spot. I mean... I was talking about it this week that it's weird that everybody's acting like, oh, I'm quarantined, I can't, how am I going to survive? What movies do I need to watch? It's so weird.
Right.
It's a weird dichotomy because the work I've done for the most of my life is the work that won't be stopped unless somebody issues an order saying I have to stop working.
So as of right now, you are completely unaffected.
We're go. We are full go.
Nothing has changed.
No.
I'm sure that you've probably had somebody at your office or at the wherever you're going in every day saying, hey, take extra precaution. Maybe
there's contingency plans.
Wipe down, wear gloves, wipe down stuff. And
right. They're canceling in-person meetings, whatever. It is what it is. But so I don't know, because you see, for my money, going on the roads, being out every day, it doesn't look that much different to me than it has in the past. It's not lighter traffic. I mean, outside of the mall essentially being shut down, things like that. But people are still out and about.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it makes you the jerk or... Hey, wait, do we put it on the poll?
Am I a jerk if I want to buy 2x4s?
Yeah, I'll put that on there right now because
that's a fair question. I want to do something. Again, I want to take advantage. I don't want to just sit on the couch and watch TV show after TV show and binge watch 3 different things. Sure, there are plenty of things I want to watch, but I would like to at least come out of this on the other end, whether it's 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, or a year from now, be like, well, that really sucked being cooped up inside for that long, but at least I got this done.
Right. No, I think it's a fair question to ask. It's tough. I mean,
what would you do?
My wife and I and my friend who's home went out, not this Friday, but the previous Friday. We were supposed to be going to a concert. Obviously, it was postponed.
Yeah.
We had a babysitter who was taking Reed overnight, my mother-in-law. So, hey, do you want to go get a beer? The first brewery we went to, packed to the brim.
Yeah.
And the next day, I think I texted him. I said, hey, were we bad people for doing that? And I think it's in hindsight,
this was a week ago?
A little over a week ago. Okay. Yeah.
I think at that point, you were probably okay.
Yeah.
Because we had plans to go out to dinner with some friends that night.
Yeah.
They ended up getting canceled, but they got canceled because that was the day that they announced that the schools in the state were being shut down.
Okay.
And my friends, they have 2 kids, so they're at the point now, 2 school-age kids. So they're at the point now where they're like, which is the position that so many people are in, where they're like, okay, well, now I either have to pay for daycare.
Sure.
Or one of us has to take off from work. So my buddy texted me. He's like, hey, man, faced with this, we're just not going to be able to swing it, the extra money for going out. And I was like, hey, I totally get it, because 3 years from now, I'm going to be in that same... 3-4 years from now, I'll be in that same situation.
Things change.
Now, if you had said last night that you went out for a drink with a buddy,
right,
I would have secretly judged you.
Secretly?
Yeah.
Well, I can deal with that. As long as it's never out in public.
Isn't it crazy though? And again, we don't want to dwell too much on this because
certainly.
But it's just so crazy. I've never seen a situation be this fluid and change so much from one day to the next. It's
yeah, and I mean, again, we're in different phases of our life than we were 5 years ago. This would have been a death knell. Well, not even 5 years, but 5 to 8 years ago, this would have been a death knell for me in my social life. You know. But now,
would it have been?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have really missed that one hockey game every 3 weeks that you went to.
Oh, God, you couldn't pay me money to go to one of those now.
Dollar beers, dollar dogs.
Just the worst. But, Steve, I wanted to mention to you because, and we didn't even talk about this before recording, but I need to ask you. It is officially, today, been 6 months.
Since what?
Since your daughter was born.
Really?
6 months today, Steve. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Can't be said enough.
Happy half birthday to baby Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
Growing every week I see her.
Yeah.
What I feel like it's important to check up to see where you're at. Now, we talked a lot during Annette's pregnancy and everything about the planning and what you thought.
Yeah.
6 months in, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, so feel free if you don't have an answer. That's totally fine. Is there a few things that you thought have gone maybe way differently on either end? Maybe something has been, whoa, I didn't expect this to be this hard or this all-encompassing. Or maybe you thought, oh, boy, the way people talked about this, I thought this part would be harder.
Well, let me preface it by saying that I think we've been extremely lucky. She has been a very content, easy baby. She doesn't scream a lot. She sleeps great. She'll sleep like 11 hours straight, no problem. She eats great,
which is nice.
And for the most part, just a happy baby. In the last, especially month or so, like just you start to see a little bit of a personality, or maybe not a personality, but she has a lot more expressions now. She smiles and kind of giggles, and
eyes are moving more. Yeah,
you make funny faces at her, and she thinks it's hilarious. So that's been awesome. Because when they're first born, they're like kind of boring.
It is what it is.
I mean, lay there and then crap.
And that's the thing. It's that period where you're most kind of fearful.
Yeah.
About everything, because it's all new.
Which is crazy, because it should be like I should be more fearful now than I was then, because then you put them in the bassinet and they literally cannot do anything. Yep. They can't go anywhere.
Yep, they're swaddled and
they can't move.
That's it.
But now it's especially in the last 2 weeks, she's been sitting up so well. So I was down here a couple days ago when I was straightening up here in the studio, and I put her on the couch behind me, propped her up in the corner, and kind of leaned her back so she was like, she couldn't really go anywhere. I turned around, she had completely sat up, and she's just bouncing around and looking at me.
Oh, man.
So it's
those times, man. It's the best times where you start to see that development happen.
And there's definitely something I never expected that has happened. I never anticipated in all of this how many conversations between me and Annette would be about poop.
Consistency?
Yeah.
Color?
Yeah.
How often?
Yep.
Not often enough.
And it's crazy how like you can have these seriously engaging conversations about poop. Hey, did she poop today? Yeah, she did. Oh, what did it was kind of kind of seedy.
Like getting a little consistency there, or no? Yeah, no, it
was like halfway up her back.
Yeah, you totally have to reevaluate the way you talk about things, and if that's something that you're very uncomfortable with, by force, you're going to become comfortable with it.
Oh yeah, you're going to be perfectly fine at it. It was funny too, because a friend of mine, him and his wife are expecting their first child in about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So and it's one of Annette's great friends. So they're going to have a daughter. So our daughters are going to grow up. They're going to be 6 months apart, basically.
A little Godfather Steve in the works.
Oh,
I don't want to put it out in there, but the day of my daughter's wedding.
That was good.
That
was really
I didn't
good.
want to say anything. I didn't think it was that bad. And I mean, not known for my impressions.
It's no James Earl Jones.
Whoa. I didn't mean to step on the impressionist toes. I will get out of the way of whether it's James Earl Jones. I will get out of the way of you as Marlon Brando in The Godfather. Mm-hmm. I did not mean to step on
it's quite all right.
The show impressionist's toes here today.
Ray.
Oh. You can feel it in your toes. Not just your toes, Steve. I'm pretty sure my toenails just vibrate.
I'm a great one-word impressionist.
I think you've really honed in anyway on, the full line there after we did it for 8 weeks in a row.
People will come, Ray. People most definitely will come.
I think I need to pull that and then pull the line from the movie and maybe overlay it.
Yeah.
And then play them side by side. Maybe, hey, right there, that's a reason to tune in. That's right. Do you, sitting at home or in your car, remember 1994's?
I think it was before that.
Was it?
I thought it was 80s. I thought it was like 89 or 90.
Why are we doing this?
This is what we do.
What we do. We talked about Dickie Marks.
Dickie Marks.
A Dead Kenny rivalry.
Where only one of them is dead.
1989.
Hey, look
Steve.
at that.
So you are nailing the estimation this week.
Look, it's obviously near and dear to my heart. So, what the hell were we talking about?
What do you mean? Before we were doing impressions of The Godfather and Ray?
Oh, that's right. We were talking about friends.
You were talking about your friends having a baby. I interrupted to ask you if you're going to be the Godfather.
Right. You did a Marlon Brando impression. Yep. I accused you of being stepping on my toes with my Ray impression. Or not my Ray impression, my James Earl Jones saying Ray impression.
A lot of layers to that. But we digress.
Okay, so some very good friends of ours are having a baby in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. So we're excited because it's
their first.
It's their first, yeah. Okay. So they're gonna our daughters will basically grow up together, which will be a lot of fun to watch. But so I was texting back and forth with Mike, and I said like, hey man, you guys freaking out yet? And I've texted him a bunch of times over the last few weeks or few months just to see how they're doing. Mm-hmm. And at one point, this is a couple months ago, he had said to me like, "Oh, well, are you a master at changing diapers yet?" And I was like, "Dude, you are going to be so good at changing diapers within 1 week of that baby being born."
That's such a weird thing, but I get it because everybody goes through it before you're like, "Oh, I'm just not familiar with it," and then you realize it's 4 flaps.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
A little Velcro.
I mean,
that's it.
The real expertise comes, Steve, with wipe usage. Mm-hmm. That's the real expertise.
Yeah.
Now, everybody knows somebody who's an over-wipe user, and in these trying times, Steve, mm-hmm. I kindly ask everybody, stop overusing the wipes, okay? Keep them to a minimal, okay? That's what you need to forewarn your friend about. Mm-hmm. You don't need a half a pack going for any dirty diaper.
I mean, I would say with with your standard wet diaper, you need one.
Right.
One wipe.
Perfect.
Now, if there's you got a little bit more of a mess, for the longest time, I had never used more than 3. 3 was max. And then you have one of the, you open that diaper up and you think, what the hell happened in here?
How? Why? And what happened?
Like one of those ones where you just say, okay, well, the onesie is being thrown out because it's lost.
There's no sense in keeping it.
So our daughter had, probably for about 3 weeks, had saved all of her number 2s for whenever Mom was gone. So, whatever.
Lucky dad.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have the easier end of this whole whole operation.
In terms of overall needs, what she gets from you is a lot easier than what she gets from Mom.
But it became the running joke. Annette would hand her off to me, and I'd be like, okay, well, you're leaving now? Well, she's going to poop in 5 minutes. And so I had one day where I had brought her home, and she had fallen asleep. So I left her as she was, and then started, what's that smell? Okay, yeah, she pooped. No big deal. I'll wait till she wakes up. So she woke up, and I go to pick her up out of the thing that she was in, and she was like, just her back was soaked. 11 wipes. I went from 3 to 11.
That's not a jump from 3 to 4, even 5.
No.
11?
11, yeah, it was ridiculous.
Think about just going and hooking up the hose?
I did, yeah.
Because a lot of times that makes it easier.
Yeah. So, but then Annette finally got hers last week. There was one.
Take that!
There was one. She was like 10 minutes late for dropping her off dropping Evelyn off at my work. She's like, she had the biggest blowout ever, and she actually said, "You're gonna have to like change the garbage bag when you get home."
That bad?
Like we have one of those diaper genie
like a pail
things.
thing. Yeah.
So you throw it in there, and I had just emptied it the night before because it was I was getting the garbage together to put out the next day.
But it had consumed the room.
It was. I took that bag out of there, and it was like half filled, which normally we can go probably a week between emptying those things.
Yeah.
And it had been like 12 hours, and the thing was half full again. So yeah, in conclusion, more conversations about poop than I would have ever thought. There are still some things that I find just revolting and disgusting that I will not do. Annette has
you've drawn a line in the sand.
Yeah, and well, maybe not. I won't do them. I go about things a little bit differently. Like Annette has no problem picking her up and being like, "Yeah, dirty diaper." I cannot do that. It just grosses me out.
Oh,
and what I've said to her a million times. Look, I'd rather go through the process of taking the whole ensemble off and realizing that the diaper is not dirty than 1 second of sticking my nose up and sniffing. Won't do it.
Wow.
The other thing is the did you guys use the booger sucker thing?
Yep, I will not touch that.
Absolutely not.
I actually prefer to leave the room when Katie uses it.
Yeah. Just the noise. The noise alone
is.
I'm
not going to replicate it because it will make me gag.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Nope, not happening.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So, but Annette has no problem with it. So I was like, hey, that's all you then.
Right.
All you. But in conclusion, again, the last 6 months have been pretty good.
So 6 months in,
pretty
Steve.
good. I mean, right now, completely terrified of everything.
Oh,
the
right.
Baby, she's not leaving the house for months.
Right. Maybe ever.
Yeah, most likely.
Maybe ever. Because at that point, it'll be high school time, and you don't want that in your life.
No.
You can't have that. Let me ask you this, Steve. 6 months in, just going based off of my timeline, things that happened to us, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had anybody, family, friend, otherwise, giving you the old, "You ready to have another one yet?"
I don't think anyone said it.
No?
No. I mean, I'm sure somebody has, but I don't recall it. I don't remember it sticking out. Have you guys had that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Really?
but Reed's older. I mean, Reed is a year and a half.
Yeah.
So, for us, for a lot of people, at least, generations past, this is kind of the time people start getting much more serious about it in terms of, well, I don't want them to be too far apart, et cetera, et cetera. But we're not in a stage right now where we're discussing it, and we're close. I mean, other things going on in our lives that are going to preclude that from happening for at least probably another 3 years-ish.
So you're not thinking about having a coronial?
Nope. Wait. If we did, that would put a damper on other plans that we have for our lives. Wife talking about going back to school to get her master's degree, and while not saying that is impossible, and I know probably plenty of people have done that while being pregnant and doing that, it's an unneeded obstacle or hurdle to making what is already a difficult process for her in terms of going to school while working harder.
Yeah. So,
that is what we are trying to avoid. So, well, that's good. Again, happy birthday. Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Evelyn. Thank you very much. Can't be said enough. Can't be said enough.
I mentioned my wife, and we did talk about how we don't want this to become just a discussion about the coronavirus, and it's not going to. But I included something in my email that when I looked back at probably doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it didn't. I was obviously going to ask you about it. But yeah, you said, I am pretty sure I got trolled by a British animal Twitter account.
Yep. And
what is it?
Well, Steve, let me recap this to you. So, as I don't know if you've heard, there's a disease rampaging through the world right now.
No.
It's the common cold.
Oh, okay.
It's cold season. Everybody be aware. Sneeze into your elbow.
Yep.
Cough into your shoulder.
What do they call it, like the Dracula cough or the Dracula sneeze?
Yep, right into your elbow.
Oh.
Ooh. See, this is why you're the show impressionist.
Was that? I don't think that was a good.
I think
Dracula.
that was pretty. Well, that was a good Count Chocula.
Because it sounded more like a laugh. Than
that was actually a good Count Chocula, or the Count from Sesame Street.
What is that noise that he makes? Is it a?
It's isn't it bwahaha?
Yeah, but is it a? Is that a laugh? Well, let's go to the web polls and ask the masses.
No, listen. That's fair. We need to ask: is the sound Dracula makes
a laugh?
A laugh, or a cough, or do we just do? Is it a laugh? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So I'll post that. That's also on the poll this week. Boy, a couple of goodies.
What was the first one?
Should Steve feel like a jerk for wanting to buy 2x4s?
Okay.
I stand by
you don't want to put during the coronavirus?
No, I don't think we need context here.
No, of course not. Okay.
I will. I'm sorry. I will post those as soon as I'm done telling the story. So I posted a bit of a Twitter thread this week, Steve. I don't know if you saw it, in regards to my wife and the medical professionals right now, the health professionals who are dealing with this virus, and essentially about how PPE, personal protection equipment, has been in incredibly short supply.
Yeah.
And essentially saying that my wife, they're now limiting nurses to one face mask per 12-hour shift.
That doesn't seem...
They're just out. They're out.
Yeah.
They don't have them. I mean,
and
we have Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, on Twitter, replying directly DMs to people.
To Elon Musk.
Yeah, and I'm seeing people, there's a local union, a local seamstress union for Broadway and stuff. Thank you so much. I just DM'd you. Follow us back. We'll DM you back. It's
looking for people to make
people
them.
Making sewing masks. Cristiano, I forget what the last name is. Excuse me, I'm not in the fashion industry. A world famous fashion designer sewing masks.
Are they so they can't be that difficult then?
No, it's not. And honestly, people have posted links. You can take. It's essentially the material from the inside of a furnace filter, Steve. Mm-hmm. People are recommending you can take, if you have extra furnace filters, take that out. You can cut it into whatever shape you need.
Yeah, it's like that stringy, and foamy stuff.
It's meant to catch any, debris or So, but we digress a little bit. So I posted this long thread. I don't know if I'm going to read. I don't want to read it all. I don't think it's not that long per se, but essentially saying they're being overwhelmed with cases and symptoms, and if face masks are in short supply, imagine what else is or could be. They're an amazing group of people to be on the front line. Please respect them, because there were some issues with other personnel who didn't work at the hospital coming in and stealing boxes of masks from a hospital.
This happened at your wife's hospital?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's an exclusive. I guarantee you, one of the best friends of this show, Nikki, works at a hospital. And she said they're in terrible short supply as well. This is going on everywhere, and I'm not saying this is exclusive there. And
sure, but you're just trying to bring light to an issue.
Sure. And people replied, and our friend Zach works in a medical field as well. Pretty much all in support of this. It was very weird to me then when I got a Twitter message, a DM. And if I don't follow you, if I'm not friends with you or whatever, it goes into the requests folder, but I still get a notification. So I must have saw it a little bit later. Because I pulled it open, and it is the username, Steve, is Goblin. Actually, I don't even know if I want to read it. It has nothing to do with. It's very weird. Numbers and a name with an underscore in the middle, but the name, like the username that they or the display name, Ellie and Putty and Ben.
Ellie and Putty and Ben. Okay.
And when you click on their profile, which I did after reading their message to me, it is a family of 3 cats.
Okay.
And the message I received from these
3
cats is this. Give your head a wobble. This is happening at hospitals worldwide. You're not unique.
That's very rude of those 3 cats.
And it's not even too... I think you can attach a tweet when you send a message if you want.
Yeah.
So initially, this thing was sent at Eastern Standard Time. I think at 4 in the morning. Obviously, I don't see it then, but I do get up early for work.
Did your tweet go viral?
No.
But this is somebody that you don't have...
This may have been somebody who commented to it or something. These people must have seen it in their timeline and thought, wow, I can't believe the nerve of this person. They sent the message and immediately blocked me.
Oh. Very open-minded person, then.
It wouldn't have even been a discussion. Honestly, I told you last week, and I need to distance myself from social media in general, and I really need to focus on that. I wasn't going to engage with this family of cats.
I mean, you'd be silly to.
Which, out of context, sure might seem weird. Me declining an internet argument with a family of British cats. But that's where social media is, Steve. So I did click on... they only blocked my personal account. Obviously, they didn't know I was a co-host of a really famous...
of a seldomly listened to podcast.
The most listened to podcast in a 5-block radius of Steve's house.
Right around this house.
As we so claim. But yeah, they are... I searched for them on our podcast Twitter. 3 crazy cats in England. Come and say hello. No naked humans.
What?
I guess just heading off at the pass all of the unsolicited nudes 3 British cats usually get.
So
please, do not send D pics or any other unsolicited nude pics to these 3 British cats. But is that how I come off when I get into Twitter arguments or social media arguments with people?
Yeah.
But I, in my mind anyway, I'm not replying to literally a thread saying, hey, please respect hospital workers.
Well, yeah, I don't... Boy, I don't know.
It was such a head scratcher for me that I was more curious about if this person thought I was saying that
it only happened at your wife's hospital.
Yeah, and that they should get special treatment.
Yeah, to me it seemed like you were just trying to say, hey, my wife is on the front lines of this, so
yeah,
please please respect them and realize that they're working in very difficult conditions.
Right.
Which, I mean, is great for you to say. We've seen it from millions of people. Everybody has been saying that, you know? All the people that, like, we're all sheltered in place or we're all quarantined. Well, there are certain people who can't be. They have to go into work every day. They have to go in, you know, double every day because of all of this.
Right.
Yeah, I do feel, though, that this is probably a little bit of social media karma coming back to...
Oh, disagree. I have never taken a pot shot at someone who doesn't deserve it.
There it is.
And I stand by a lot of the disagreements I've gotten into. But I have tried to transition away from that into more sarcastic type dismissal trolling rather than just head on.
Oh, yeah. I'm well aware. I saw one the other day. I was actually sent... my brother sent it to me and my sister, a screenshot of something that you had posted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, proud that the rest of my family gets to see what's going on.
Somebody had posted... one of the TV stations, the local TV stations, had posted an article about, you know, they were doing a coronavirus special tonight on the news.
Yeah.
And a woman named Karen replied, "You all are doing more harm than good, fanning the flames of paranoia. This is not what we need at this time." To which good old Kyle replies, "Not surprising, a real Karen statement there." I'm anxious, though, because in the screenshot it says, "View 10 more replies." I would love to know what they say.
Oh, yeah, I'm guessing that probably got deleted. I don't even know if I could... I don't even know if I could dig it up. Let me see if I can go back.
Have you now been banned from that news station?
The news site finally said, hey, you're done. Yeah, boy, let me see.
So, yeah, again, I feel like this is all well-deserved. I mean, you're
going to tell me Karen didn't deserve it?
This is your Lifetime Achievement Award.
Karen dismissing the facts of the coronavirus doesn't deserve to be called a Karen statement?
All I know is that the flu kills more people every year. I'm just saying.
This is... You know, by the way, I was going to... maybe I should save this for a hot take that I'll dump on Twitter.
Oh, boy.
Because...
That's what you call a tease right there.
I've been building one up, and it's been frustrating, but I need to check to make sure you haven't done this.
Okay.
Before I unleash the hot takes. I don't want to hurt any feelings.
Okay.
I'm growing as a person.
Write it down on a piece of paper and send it to me.
Okay, you got to...
Send it to me in a text.
So you got a pen or paper? Other than that, we're halfway to what we need to make this whole work.
Type it on your screen and then turn it.
Well, I'm going to text it to you right now.
Okay. So if I say, yes, I have done this...
I will not unleash...
You're going to be like, okay.
Well, I mean, I'll just have to pivot. Like all the hot take artists are known to do. Yeah, you should have it. It's just a simple question. Not related
No.
Okay.
I have not.
Okay, good.
I have not. I mean, if I have... I'd be very embarrassed if you were to dig it up and show it to me. So
yeah,
I guess I can't say that I never have, but I don't think I ever have, because just based on my reaction when I read that, I would hope that I haven't.
Ah, boy, you're right. I don't see any right now, so I will unleash that hot take then.
Okay,
on Twitter here very shortly. Speaking of Twitter, before we close up shop here, getting to nothing we wanted to today. Did we even have anything we wanted to get to?
Well, I mean, we did our Kenny Rogers eulogy.
Yep. You're welcome, family. Rogers family.
Talked about you getting trolled by a family of British cats. And a lot more talk about, like, Richard Marx.
Oh, yeah, Dickie Marx.
Dickie M.
Dickie Marx himself.
Ricky Marxo.
Did want to mention the polls we posted last week, Steve, which were... Again, not out of context. I think all these make sense when you read them. The first poll. Is the hammer the apostrophe of the gun? Makes
total sense.
Kind of. I mean, even when you look at a gun from the side, kind of... So it's like, oh, where's the S? Oh, wait, maybe it's not possessive. A lot of things going on. And with 70% of the vote, people said yes.
Of course.
Yes,
the only logical explanation.
The apostrophe of the gun. Now, the second one.
I have no recollection of this.
In the news this week, has Tom Brady ever been referred to as Tommy Touchdown, as you so aptly referred to him last week?
I stand by this. This is going to be 99% yes.
71% of the audience
said yes.
Said no. And 29% of our audience does not care about sports in the slightest.
Now, are you averaging together Facebook?
That's the average, Steve. That is, it's over 150 votes there between the two. Maybe one was nicer to you. Yep, Facebook only was 70% said no. So maybe Facebook's an audience in that regard.
There it is, the rare Steve loss on a poll.
Yeah, boy, that was a... People willingly, too, because in that, reading that with no context, but knowing the dynamic of this podcast,
right?
People know what side that came from, and they still said, boy, Steve's really dumb for saying.
I'm surprised you didn't post a screenshot of the text conversation that we had earlier in the week about Tom Brady.
Oh, I think I may have even... I think I took a screenshot and I meant to post that.
Posted it.
Yeah, I did.
After that conversation took place, I fully expected, like an hour later, I thought, oh, I bet that's going to end up being a post on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Steve and Kyle.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I will. I'll have to post that because that is absolute, especially right now, Steve. It's very timely.
Very topical.
The NFL free agency going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big news. Probably going to talk about that on Sports Tate this week, right?
Boy, in fairness, I had every intention to record, but there are no sports.
Well, you can talk about free agency.
I hate talking about topical stuff that nobody cares about like that. I'm going to dig into the well, though. I think I've got some back topics that I'd like to talk about that won't make a lot of sense right now, but that have been kind of on my mind that I could put something together. I need to do it.
Look,
it's just going to be out of context.
We're a couple of content creators here. That's what they call us on the internet.
Some call us influencers.
Some people may call us influencers.
Probably within a 5-block radius.
Probably. The numbers have never been higher in this 5-block radius.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure that you clarify.
All right, so we got a Fast 5 episode coming a couple days after this.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, shelter in place. Wear rubber gloves.
Yeah. Stay safe if you can. Take every precaution. Obviously, everybody's been saying it. If we're we're the first people you're hearing it from, you've been doing it wrong.
Yeah. So be safe out there. Talk to you next time.